Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here. Oh my goodness, last night I went to sleep so late, and today I knew I would be tired, but I didn't realise I'd be this tired. I felt like a zombie in the morning, so it's a nightmare. And I had so many ideas going through my mind, and I was like procrastinating about one, about getting out of bed in the first place, and two, about what to write and all that sort of stuff. So having so many ideas in my mind is quite difficult, because it's difficult to decide which ones to go for. But this is another one of my footballers, I've called it soccer videos. And I've called it soccer partly for two reasons. One, because my patterns and alliterations, because it's Saturday, so it's like soccer Saturdays and stuff like that, and soccer Sundays. And two, because I thought it's like a marketing thing, so that I want to try and encourage more people from America, or the Americas even, to support Italian football or soccer. So that's one reason why I've used the term soccer, and maybe more people from the US or whatever can or who use the term soccer. I think it's only really America that use the term soccer. So I know some people in Britain don't like it when you say soccer. Soccer are the same as beach marks. They only want to call it football. So, but it doesn't really bother me that much. As long as I can attract or recruit people to support Italian football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really bother me what you call it. Calcio, soccer, football, whatever. Anywho, so I thought I'd talk about some ideas in one of my list videos again. So I had like 2 or 3 ideas at the same time. And this is what I wanted to. I'm probably going to try and copy and paste this and share it with the Serie A page and the Italian football national team page. But yeah, I thought rather than leaving it and procrastinating, I thought I'd get on with it while the ideas are kind of fresh, and who knows what. Because I was thinking I could leave the idea till another day, but then on that other day something else would probably come up, so I might not have the chance to do it. So anyway, I haven't really planned it that much, but here are some ideas for Italian soccer, football, whatever you call it. Number one, I was thinking former players like Andrea Pirlo, Del Piero, Roberto Baggio, Paolo Maldini, Albertini, and people like that. They could set up their own academies, like here in the UK there's the David Beckham Academies. They could set up similar things, and maybe the government could offer them tax incentives for improving Italian football by creating their own academies where as many young players can practice, and maybe they can have leagues and tournaments and cups, which leagues, tourneys, as I call them, tournaments and cups, which help Italians to practice. As ever, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on each of these ideas, or whatever other things you want to talk about on this, in the comment section, preferably sticking to topic where possible, but you can write what you want. But yeah, so like to create their own academies, as I say, the Andrea Pirlo Academy. I better not get his name wrong, he's like a legend. So Paolo Maldini, again, another legend. Francesco Totti, Albertini, to me they're all sort of legends of Italian football. So Del Piero, people like that. Del Piero was one of the World Cup winners as well. So Cannavaro, and people like that, to have their own academies, and maybe like each player to have their own academy. I thought I was going to include this, but I thought I might as well include this as another idea, otherwise I'm going to probably run out of things to finish my list. But anyway, point number two, or idea number 2, people like Cannavaro. I'm feeling so embarrassed I can't remember his first name. And again, he's like a legend or hero of the Italian football, so I'm not with it today at all. But yeah, people like Cannavaro and Maldini, possibly like Buffon, for instance, could have the. I know he's still playing, but again, current players and former players could have their own academies, as well as many players as possible. And whenever they get a chance, whenever they get time off, or whenever they get a chance, they can go and coach goalkeepers or whatever, and even probably bring their families there, and like the families can spend time like coaching goalkeepers and stuff like that, if they or whatever position they're playing. So in Buffon's case, like goalkeepers, like training goalkeepers. In Cannavaro's case, training defenders. Albertini's case, training midfielders, and Del Piero's case, and Roberto Baggio and people like that could be like training strikers for the future as well, so especially younger players. So yeah, in their specific positions. Number 3, it would be great if people put pressure on politicians to talk about what they would do to contribute to Italian football, especially sports ministers, but even politicians generally, like even Prime Minister or President, or both, like I think Italy has both prime minister and president because it's a republic. But yeah, so talking about what they will do as elected officials and whatnot to represent. Well, president, I'm not sure if he's elected, but anyway, talk about what they will do for a town football, like provide tax exemptions for people to invest in a town football, and like invest some money in like infrastructure or use some taxpayers' money perhaps to build football pitches, training facilities, and so forth for players, and again attract overseas investment and sponsorship money and all sorts of things like spaces for football or places for football. So people like big companies like LucasAid or Red Bull invest in football infrastructure and training facilities for young Italians, especially, and like offer if they get tax exemptions for doing so, hopefully they'll entice them to do so as part of their PR as well. So like encouraging people through the tax system, like tax cuts for providing these sorts of academies and things like that. Number 4, I know I talked before about like I think some of these ideas hopefully are new, but I've talked before a little bit about making heroes out from footballers. So like even like toys or figures or games can talk about it. Like even in partnership with African nations, because I want to support Africa in terms of technology, just to be quirky, but they could make games where you are like you can become the hero by helping Italy to win the World Cup on these video games or whatever. But in terms of like creating like, I know this is probably not the best example, but apparently like Hitler used to create toy soldiers to make them into heroes, and I'm sure other countries have done similar things. Obviously, I'm not saying in that kind of way because obviously he was very evil, but I mean in a positive way, like making toy figures which are like the heroes who play football and all that sort of stuff, and also making footballers themselves into heroes. So hopefully, young lads will want to become footballers to become like the heroes and all that sort of stuff. So other countries have military personnel as heroes. I think it'd be great if Italy could be as neutral as possible in wars, but have footballers as heroes. So like, possibly learn from the Swiss as well about being military neutral. Number 5, I'd love Italians to like practice as much football as they can, and people to encourage people to in Italy to practice football. Like I was saying, like people might say like footballers, for instance, they they want to spend time with their family, so when they do have time off, but it'd be great I think if their wives and children were like wanting to go to football with them. So if they set up these academies and train people, their wife or children wouldn't complain and say, oh, you're not spending time with us, but they'll take them with them, and then they could watch their parents become the heroes and teach future generations about football and things like that, how to learn what they knew, or what they did to become strikers or whatever position they played. So yeah, people to encourage, like parents to encourage their children to play football as much as possible and things like that, and to go out and play football more. And hopefully like a positive can be made from the coronavirus situation, because hopefully because of that it will bring the country together and make them want to go out and play football more and things like that in the future, when hopefully they have the opportunity, also when it's safe, hopefully Godspeed, it'll be as safe as possible to do so. Number 6, yes. So I'd love as many training academies and facilities and things like that, especially like from players or former players, to be made in Italy. Number 7, I hope that things outside my control go well. So I hope God will bless Italian football, bless Italy, but only for football. Something like that. Sorry if my ideas are really quirky, as usual, really strange ideas, I know. But number 8, again, I hope for Italians to fall in love with football, and I say people like Silvio Berlusconi to invest again in AC Milan or in Milan itself, to have academies which help the young players in the future, and people from Turin to do the same for Turin, and maybe even bring like rival teams like AC Milan and Inter Milan, even though they're rivals, they could still somehow train together. Hopefully, I know that could be a bit difficult, but especially like in places like Turin, with Juventus and Torino, but if they could somehow practice together, even though they're rivals. Please forgive me if some ideas are a bit naive as well. Number 9, again, hope for like new owners, sponsors, or people like that, and players talk about their 5 or 10 year plans for the team. So when new owners come in or new sponsors, they can talk about what their 5 or 10 year plans are. So if a new owner comes in to buy AC Milan, they can talk about what they want to achieve in 5 or 10 years, what their vision is, what their plans are, and new manager come in and talk about what they want to do, how they want to win more in Europe and things like that, hopefully, and bring AC Milan and teams like that back to the glory days, and Italian football back to the glory days of the 90s. And number 10, again, have as much training for the youth as possible in many places for sports and training academies, and also players from overseas like Ronaldo. And if Messi came to Serie A, it would be great as well, obviously. And players like Ronaldo, I'm sure they already do this, but like to train young people as much as possible and talk about being mentors and role models. And like I think even in schools, like in school assemblies, they could have like footballers come in as often as possible and talk about how to have a good diet and how to be the best footballers they can be. Anyway, I hope you like this video and my ideas weren't too out there. Please let me know what you think. Peace out.